If you're wondering whether you are too old to start an IT career, I personally think that you're asking the wrong question. Because the real question, are you willing to build evidence that you can do the work that is required? Because your age itself is not what disqualifies people from technology. Standing still does. Let me explain. If for some reason this is your first time ever coming upon one of my videos, my name is Giovanni, and I am a senior at SNHU, adults that are returning to school. And this was specifically a question that was asked, and I thought it was worth having a conversation and talking to you guys directly about that. So I decided to do it while I had a moment. I hear a lot of concerns from people like in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, and beyond. And a lot of times they look at technology and assume that everybody entering the IT field is 22 or 19 and has been coding since middle school and already understands everything. Let me tell you something. That is not reality. And I'm just being honest. That's not reality. Technology is full of people who came from someplace else. If you don't know my history, I was in the military, for well over 10 years. And, in the military, I did healthcare. So I went from that to retail, to logistics, to customer service, to education, to operations management. All of those things didn't change just because I went to a different job. I still had, for example, when I came here, I still had my healthcare back. I still have that. I still have my healthcare background. So moving into IT is more about the skills that you're bringing over with you. So when you're older, and this is just specifically for the people 30 and older, that is not to say if you're 25 that you don't have the same thing. I'm speaking to us. So when you're older, so that's one thing. Typically when you're older, you understand how to communicate with difficult people. You already know how to show up consistently, how to solve problems without panicking. And you also typically know how to take ownership of something before it goes wrong. And oftentimes it doesn't go wrong because you're already ahead of the game. So those are not minor skills. I know you may take those as minor skills. Those are skills that are often separate you from someone who knows technology, from someone who's in a company, they've got education, but they haven't been through anything. So they don't really know how to trust the system and trust the process. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm not trying to sell anybody a fantasy because that's just not what my channel is about. A career change can be uncomfortable. And often it is, Your first role may not be what you think when you think of IT, Let me give you an example. You may graduate with a degree, and let's say you graduate with an IT degree. You very well may do that. And then you graduate and find out that you're working the help desk. So what ends up happening is that you think for whatever reason that you're not in IT because you aren't working in cybersecurity. Let me tell you, cybersecurity is not an entry-level job. In IT, you're not going to go just because you've been working in operations for 15 years and then you decide to come over to IT. Are you going to go there and become a manager? And IT is one of those things that kind of builds upon itself. So you to school to study, you do labs, you earn certifications, you take the classes,